Hey guys, so here I'm at this property. I just had an investor call me that owns this property. This is here in Bakersfield, and he wants to sell this rental house. So it's my job to just walk the property and try to determine what we can do to get best value out of this house. Now, what the house is really doesn't matter in this video. For this particular video, it doesn't matter if it's two bedroom or one bedroom. The point here is I ran some comps, and I think the house is worth typically just on paper anywhere from 105 to 115, right about there. Now, you can always adjust the price quite a bit. So obviously he wants to get 115, maybe even 120. But looking at this particular house, you can see that it's accessed through an alley. So that's Chester Avenue over there. So you have to go through an alley, which isn't that big of a deal. But you can see the alley is kind of rough, which is going to kind of detract from the price on what we think we ought to sell it for. Then and Google Street View did not show any kind of footage on this particular alley. And we have all these on this side. We have all these kind of smaller rental houses all the way down, and which would be great if this is giving me another rental house, but it still kind of detracts from the overall price. Okay. Now, so as far as price point goes, we need to bring up the price as high as possible. What can we do to the house specifically? There's not much we can do with the asphalt, but or the road or the location. But now, what can we do about the actual house itself? Now, this front yard's pretty cluttery, and that's kind of hard to do when there's a tenant in place and it's a tenant stuff and they have a right to their property. But as far as the house itself, the best buyer we're going to get is going to be a financed buyer, or at least opens up more doors. Okay, so if this house is going to be financed, if it's going to be financed, then we have to do certain things. If this house is going to be purchased all cash, then it doesn't really matter so much. But these things that I'm going to talk about, even with an all cash buyer, these things that a lender wants is going to make the house more appealing. Okay, so a couple things we want to do to the house to make it more appealing, or make it more able to be financed, just by looking at the outside. Any kind of trees or vegetation needs to be trimmed back. So you see there's a bush there that needs to be trimmed back. All those trees hanging off the roof up there, all that needs to be trimmed, and especially this tree over here, all that needs to be trimmed away and get all that vegetation off the house. Okay, I can't see the backyard, but that's what you need to do with the front yard at least, is just, and it doesn't cost much money to trim trees. Now, the actual house itself, I think it looks like the front's been painted and repainted a few different colors. The actual body is not bad at all. It's actually a nice kind of a gray color. So I would look at maybe painting the front of the house to make it look more uniform and cohesive all the way through. Okay. So painting the front of the house to match the bodies. Okay, that would go a long way. You can see that the actual body's not in bad shape at all. It's actually pretty nice looking grayish kind of color. Okay, so I would just paint the front. Looks like maybe there's some vegetation in the back. I see kind of a tree of some sort growing in the back. It's probably hanging over the roof as well. You don't want any vegetation touching the house. Okay, then beyond that, I'm looking at the eaves. Any kind of eave damage. You can see some bare eaves over here with no paint. We need to paint those eaves. Any kind of wood that's unpainted is going to be a problem, either for a lender or even a cash buyer is going to see that and think there's going to be some concerns with bare wood, because bare wood is just ripe for termite damage or dry rot damage. So we're going to need to want to paint the eaves. And even back over there, I see a little bit more bare wood that's going to be painted, but that's going to be all the house color. So we'll keep it as low cost as possible. The roof looks good, and if we paint the front, that's going to take care of all the concerns up front. And we do have over here, we do have a little bit of separation from the eaves. That there's that board right up there. I don't know if I can zoom in or not. Right there. So that board, there's not a good connection there, so we'll need to just resecure that. That's gonna be pretty minimal cost. And beyond that, so once we go to paint this, hopefully we'll be able to clear all the stuff out the front, at least from the house, and then it'll be a lot more presentable. The fence, there's just a few slats that are loose. Just fix those up a little bit. And that's really it. So minimal cost. Give it some curb appeal. Now, the way it sits now, if the value of the house is somewhere between 100 and let's say 110 to 115, the way it sits now, I would value it probably $99,000. So there's a big price hit. Just the way it sits now, $99,000 versus 110. So, and then that's at the bottom of the scale. But right now, it just looks a little bit rough. So just by doing a little bit of work, maybe $1,000 worth of work, you'll be able to get another $10,000 worth of value out of it. Okay, so that's pretty good. You put $1,000 in, you get $10,000 out. That's not bad at all. In order to get it closer to the any more than 110, we would have to do something with the yard, and even then, it's going to be it's still a rental house on an alley. So that's where I would stop at. I wouldn't look at doing anything much more than that. Obviously, I haven't even been in the house, but that's what I would look at doing. Now, I'm sure the investor is going to want to try to list it for 115, 120, and I'll list it for 115, 120. But I don't think that we're going to be able to get that, especially with the tenant in place right now. But we can try. I can certainly try to do that. But with just a little bit of work, I think it'll be a lot quicker to sell. So that's kind of what I do whenever I'm picking up new listing, especially on an investment property. You can see that alley down over there. Fair amount of traffic. Alley's pretty quiet though. It's a good looking house overall. Really quiet neighborhood for being in an alley. And I may even, if I was a seller, I may even have somebody just pick up the trash along the sides over here. There's a little bit of trash over here. I would maybe pay somebody to, or maybe the seller wants to do it himself, pick up some of that trash just to make the alley look a little bit more inviting. So that's it. If you have something similar you want me to take a look at, give me a call, or you can look at the house yourself with the same kind of eyes. Actually, back over here, I see a little bit more eaves that's unpainted. Any kind of unpainted wood is problematic. We want to paint that. Okay, and I would take a leaf blower and just knock off all the stuff off the roof. You see it has a lot of debris on the roof. The actual roof looks pretty good. All right, I think that's it. Thanks.